Hello! Today we are visiting Natasha Sorokina again and are shooting a tutorial on a new pattern. Very simple to perform, but rather beautiful and presupposing a wide range of variations. Good day! Today I'd like to propose you a pattern that can be used in different interpretations. The good thing about this pattern is that even the beginners can use it in their works. The idea was inspired by slant and stripes, which can be clearly seen on this article. To compare, I'd like to show you my previous pattern called 2-in-1. There is such a blog on the site Land of Masters, Страна мастеров. Mind the difference, the stripes are similar, but on the black and white article it is more volumetric and distinct, while on the colored article it is rather flat. Besides, this pattern has been made using the technique of printed cotton weave, while the second one has been made by the technique of a regular rope. And as well, this pattern can be varied depending on the number of the poles. Look, it is the same very pattern, but with a different number of the poles. And the very popular, all liked and fave on the Land of Masters zigzag. Of course, you can make the same zigzag by weaving a direct opposite rope, but in this case it is also more volumetric, distinct and expressive. If you weave in the technique of direct and opposite rope, zigzag can be seen, but not so beautiful and clearly seen as here. As well, this pattern looks nice if you weave it with contrast tubes. I believe there is no point in trying to perform it with the tubes of the same color. Now let's pass on to the very pattern and let's examine how to make the pattern zigzag. Let's start with the simplest pattern: slanting volumetric stripes. The number of the poles has to be odd. The second requirement is that the number of the poles has to be divisible 3, either -1 or +1. Look, in this case there are 35 poles here prepared for my future article, which is 36 divisible 3, 36 minus 1 is 35. As well, I'd like to note that I weave from right to left. If you weave from left to right, then maybe you will need the number of the poles divisible 3 plus 1. It also depends on the type of a rope you weave, a direct or an opposite one. So here I have reached the place where I will start making a slant and stripe. Then I decide that the white stripes will remain white. As for the narrow stripes, they will be pink. So the pink stripes are narrow, so the pink working tube will go in front. We start weaving a regular rope, but because the white one has to follow, I draw it behind 2 poles at once. So I have drawn the pink tube behind 2 poles. So draw the white tube behind 1 pole. Because the pink stripe is narrow, it will only embrace 1 pole. So there is a pink tube in front of one pole, draw it behind two poles. There is a white tube in front, and continue the row, lengthening where necessary. Because the repeat of the pattern consists of 3 poles, while the number of the poles is not divisible 3, it is 1 pole less, it will make the stripe shift. Look, I'm starting the 4th row. The slant can be clearly seen already, as well as the stripes, narrow pink stripes and wider white stripes. Let me also tell you a few words about the shape. It is going to be a casket, a half-round one. How did I make it? Part of Lego connects, shaped like the Russian letter P, and a regular round jar from paint with ribbons connected to it, so that I could take it by the ribbons and draw the jar together with the logo connects to take them out afterwards. Lego is connected to the jar with the help of sticky tape very thoroughly. I have made the article shaped like this many times before, that's why I don't disconnect it, I keep it as it is. I just make it heavier by placing either a pack of sand or some weight inside. I decided to make the identical zigzag on this casket. The height of it satisfies me. That is why here there were 4 rows woven, so this time I have woven 4 rows as well. Now we have to turn the direction of weaving. I was weaving from right to left until now. Now I will start weaving from left to right. Some weavers are used to tucking the tubes in, turning the work. The open work gets covered a little, but I do it somewhat differently. I just glue these tubes and start lengthening the new ones from the corner. I believe it is the most convenient place, the least noticeable and the most reasonable approach. So I will stick this white tube behind the corner pole, fix it with a pink tube. As for the pink tube, we stick it behind the next pole. Then I press them tightly downwards, and afterwards we will cut them neatly. As soon as they dry out a little, we will lengthen the tubes and start weaving in the opposite direction. So I have glued left 2 tips, we will cut them neatly afterwards. Now we will glue the new tubes. The principle is very simple. You have to stick the white tube to the white one and the pink tube to the pink one. You can either glue it or just join. It is up to you. I personally glue to fix it more thoroughly. As for the pink tube, I am going to glue it to the pink one. Here I can just join it so far without gluing. Anyway, the construction holds rather well. And now we start weaving from the left to right. And there is such a nuance here. You can weave leading the pink tubes above and the white tube beneath. Or you can do it the opposite way, lead the pink tube beneath the white one. How to select? You have to look. The pink stripe is directed this way. You have to get it V-shaped as a result. Here it is, here and here. It means that the pink tube has to go above, this way. We lead the pink tube behind 2 poles. Then there is a white tube in front. Here is the V on the corner, and it will surely go further. Let's look. In front of 2, behind 1. Then the pink tube goes behind 2 poles. Look, here is the V. And further we continue towards the right for towards the right 4 rows as well. After we complete 4 rows, we will glue at the corner again, turn and repeat all the same actions towards the left. And you can continue this way eternally. It depends on the pattern you want to get, on the height of it. Or for example, if you make more rows, 5, 6, 7 or as many as you like, instead of 4 it will be more large scaled. If you look attentively, you can also notice that my white tubes are thicker than the pink ones, which makes the pattern more distinct as well. What else would I like to see? If you look at both these networks attentively, you will notice that this pattern is on the outside surface of the left article, and there is the same pattern inside the right article. It is what I was starting talking about. In the first case I had 35 poles, which is 36 minus 1, divisible 3 minus 1. In the second case the number of the poles was divisible 3 plus 1. I had 34 poles, which is 33 divisible 3 plus 1. In this case you get the pattern like this. But it could come out like this, but with the lean to the right, if I was weaving in the technique of an opposite rope. In this case I would get slanting stripes but leaning to the right. So let's sum up and make conclusions. Everything depends on which direction you are weaving to. As well, on the type of a pattern you would like to get, either slanting stripes or a motley pattern like this. And also it depends on the number of the poles, either divisible 3 minus 1 or divisible 3 plus 1. Actually that is all. Look, here are the first 4 rows, then we have turned, and now I am weaving the third row in the opposite direction. The pattern is becoming seen already. We will weave 4 rows to the right, turn again and make 4 rows to the left. The zigzag is coming out very beautiful. Because it is woven in the technique of a rope, it is rather tight. Because it wraps 2 poles, it is rather volumetric. I like it very much. It is very simple and very nice looking at the same time. So thank you very much. Good luck to you.